happening right now on CBS 6.
A devastating Petersburg fire led many to be evacuated from their homes. But now, after being told they can't go back, residents are being allowed back in. A gas spill on Midlothian Turnpike after a truck smashes into a pump. The search for the driver and how the bitter cold temperatures actually helped. Schools have been closed for snow now for 2 days. We're asking when and if these days will be made up.
Working for you. CBS 6 News at 5 starts now.
Well, that sun has been out today. The snow's been melting, and a warm-up is on the way. Here's a live look out at the airport, our Millionaire Sky Tracker camera. And looks nice out there, and I don't really see any white stuff out there right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Bragg.
I'm Candace Burns, in for Rob Desir tonight. We have complete weather coverage for you. Zach is going to tell us about the warmer temperatures that are on the way, and we have an update on a crash that was caused by icy conditions from yesterday's snowstorm.
Plus, we have a problem solvers update on homes that have been without heat in Creighton Court. But first, parents want to know, are those kids going to school tomorrow? All right, our map is pretty gray right about now. Here's a look at the closings and delays that we have gotten. Prince George, Prince Edward, and Buckingham County schools are all closed. But Richmond and Henrico leaders made a point to say school there will start on time tomorrow.
Students across Central Virginia have had a whole lot of snow days in the past 2 weeks after the 2 storms we experienced this month. Our Jake Burns checked in with school leaders today to find out how those days are going to be made up. And so, Jake, what were you able to find out?
Candace, we found out that every school district is handling their calendar a little bit differently. We also found out there are plenty of parents out there ready for the kiddos to be back in a classroom. The creative part of these kids' minds goes straight to sled train on this snow day.
For some sledding, for some winter snow day fun.
Hanover parent Rick Mudd enjoys watching the fun at Forest Hill Park. He also thinks it's about time his kids use their creative brain inside a classroom.
They do better in routine and getting through the curriculum and that sort of thing.
Most public school kids in Central Virginia have gone to school a total of 6 days in the new year, and that's impacted school calendars. Chesterfield has seen the most changes. You can see 5 early release days have been changed to full days. They've scheduled 1 makeup day and will add 5 minutes to the school day beginning in April. And Henrico, canceled high school midterms mean all students will have full school days next week, and there's 1 makeup day scheduled. Richmond School says they haven't made any calendar changes yet, but those are coming. And in Hanover, school leaders have switched 3 early dismissal days to full school days.
You might not get out to June 18th, but...
When Shaquana Bousseau was a kid, she would sled at Forest Hill Park. Bringing her young son here is a joy, but she's ready for a little peace and quiet at her house.
So that's fun for me staying, but at home, yes, I'm ready to go back.
Now, as you can see in that story there, we couldn't fit every single school district into our story, so it's always best if you check with your child's school about any potential schedule changes. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you why one leader told us today even the best laid plans can be laid bare whenever the snow covers the ground. Working for you in Richmond, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Jake. And we already told you that Richmond and Henrico have decided that they are going to have classes on time tomorrow, and many other districts probably will too, because it's starting to warm up out there and things are starting to melt.
Yes, and hopefully get back to normal. All right, let's see where we're going next. I just got to check here.
We're going to check in with
Yes, we're going to check in with Zach. Look, Zach and Walter, they're like, come on, girls, I'm next.
Yeah, temps today did warm up into the low 40s. That allowed a lot of that snow to melt, especially in areas where the snow cover was really thin. Some of that radiation makes it down to the darker pavement, and it really helps to melt. Even when it was in the mid-20s, we were melting some of that snow away just because of that radiation. And there'll be some slick spots tomorrow morning. There's no question about it, but for the most part, I think just the shaded areas, you should see those when you drive up on them. Slow down before them. Don't brake over them. Don't turn quickly over them. And you should be fine for tomorrow morning. All right, there are your temperatures right now. Upper 30s and low 40s, so well above freezing in all locations, even areas down to our south that got more than ½ a foot of snow. Up top, skies are crystal clear, and that is the same case across all of the region. Broad area of high pressure giving us a beautiful day today, and get used to it because we've got a lot of sunshine on tap for the next several days. For tonight, clear and cold. Temperatures down into the upper 20s by 11 o'clock tonight. The big story for us is going to be a warm-up. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s, not just a one-day deal either. I think we'll have several days in the upper 50s and low 60s. We'll talk about that and our next chance for just plain old rain. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Zach. Richmond police now say that the woman behind the wheel of this car that lost control on ice before driving off the Lombardi Street Bridge, her vehicle landed upright on the railroad tracks below. She walked away from that crash. Our Shelby Brown joins us in the studio tonight. She has some information from a report on the background of that bridge. Shelby.
Well, Candace, we found out that the bridge on the Lombardi Street area right there was built back in 1932. It's reflected in VDOT records that we looked up. Now, the bridge is labeled as structurally deficient, a designation given to it by VDOT. Now, we found out that the last time there was an inspection, it was deemed structurally deficient. That was back in September of 2017, just less than 3 months ago. We also found out what that designation means. Now, a structurally deficient bridge is one that has been restricted to light vehicles, one that is closed to traffic, or one that requires rehabilitation. It also means that there are elements of the bridge that need to be monitored and or repaired. Again, in this incident, Richmond police say the driver hit a patch of ice and went through the guardrail. Now, according to VDOT's website, we should mention the fact that a bridge is deemed structurally deficient does not imply that it's likely to collapse or that it's unsafe. It simply means the bridge must be monitored, inspected, and maintained. Julie, over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Shelby. We now have an update on a problem solver story about the lack of heat in apartments in Richmond's Creighton Court neighborhood. Dozens of families haven't had heat for weeks. Our Melissa Hippolyte is live with how that is about to change now. Melissa?
Well, Julie, there's a meeting that is about to get started here in about half an hour to allow RRHA to update residents that live in those 12 buildings that haven't had heat for quite some time on the status of the heat situation. They're going to be letting them know the next steps they are taking to get the heating systems repaired. We can tell you we have learned that radiator heat, which is currently in those units, is going to be replaced by baseboard heating. Now, the repairs, we're told, will take between 10 to 12 hours per unit, and those repairs should begin next week. All repairs are expected to be completed by February 28th. Now, we will be attending this meeting coming up at 5:30. We'll let you know how residents are reacting ahead at 11. Working for you in Richmond, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
Thanks so much, Melissa. And don't forget, all the CBS 6 problem solvers are here to help. Just call 254-3672, or you can email problemsolvers@WTVR.com. Our coverage of this latest winter storm continues in just a few minutes.
We're going to be sharing some of the snow photos that you've been sending in. Plus, parts of the Outer Banks in North Carolina got more than 9 inches of snow yesterday. Coming up at 5:30, hear what some beachgoers are saying about all that snow.
Wow. And as always, you can find our complete coverage on our website and our free breaking news and weather apps.
Richmond firefighters say sub-freezing temperatures help them keep a gas line spill contained. The spill happened at the Raceway on Midlothian Turnpike just after 6 this morning. The owner of the gas station says surveillance video shows a white pickup slamming into a pump, and police believe the driver of that truck caused the crash on purpose because they say he also tried to break into the store. Fire crews shut down Midlothian Turnpike in both directions because of concerns that a spark could cause an explosion. And they say the cold temperatures caused ice to form around the gas, which really helped them out.
What saved us was that it was cold, and so the fumes kind of stayed low to the ground. There was some icing around the cooling of the fuel itself, which made it a little bit safer for us.
Hazmat crews cleaned up the gasoline and the road reopened this afternoon. Police are still looking for the driver who caused the mess.
Virginia lawmakers take a step towards changing the definition of felony theft. Today, by a vote of 36-3, the state Senate passed a bill that raises the threshold for grand larceny from $200 to $500. That bill now heads to the House. The legislation was sponsored by a Republican, but raising the threshold has been a priority of our new governor, Democrat Ralph Northam. He has said in the past that a change is needed to combat over-incarceration in Virginia. But opponents of making the change have said that tough laws like this one cut down on crime.
New at 5, a reward of up to $5,000 is being offered in the case of 10 puppies found in a dumpster in Nottoway. The puppies were stuffed in dog food bags 2 of them died. And now People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, is putting out the reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction of the person responsible. The 8 remaining puppies are still being nursed back to health at the Sanctuary Rescue. Half of them will be ready for adoption in about 3 weeks. Also new at 5, the empty Martin's grocery store in the Brook Run Shopping Center in Henrico will soon have a new grocery store tenant. Big Apple International Grocery will take over the anchor spot. Big Apple is a locally owned company with an international grocery store open on Jefferson Davis Highway. The former Martin's location is more than double its size, and Big Apple hopes to open in late spring, but plans are not finalized yet. Caught on camera, some distracted driving in dangerous winter conditions. Take a look. A passenger recorded this video of a Greyhound bus driver using his phone while driving in a snowstorm. Coming up, the explanation she says he gave her and how Greyhound representatives are responding.
And some people displaced by this massive fire in Petersburg are now being allowed to move back into their homes. Coming up, our senior reporter Wayne Koval tells us what they're saying about all the community support that's been offered over the last few days.